Kevin Hart has stepped down from hosting this year's Oscars. He put out a statement on Twitter tonight saying, "I have made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars. This is because I do not want to be a distraction on a night that should be celebrated by so many amazing, talented artists. I sincerely apologize to the LGBT community for my insensitive words from my past. I am sorry that I hurt people."
Kevin Hart has never been one to shy away from the spotlight, but when it comes to woke culture, he's taken a firm stand, shaped by his own experiences of facing cancellation and backlash. This isn't just a battle of opinions. For Hart, it's a challenge to his integrity, his growth, and his hard-earned career.
Big entertainment news breaking overnight. Kevin Hart's gig as Oscars host is over 2 days after taking the job. The comedian bowing out overnight after controversial tweets about gay people resurfaced. Hart says the Academy gave him an option: apologize or step down. Hart tweeting in part, quote, "I'm sorry that I hurt people. I'm evolving and want to continue to do so. My goal is to bring people together, not tear us apart."
After stepping down from hosting the Oscars due to public outrage over old tweets, Hart became a vocal critic of cancel culture, challenging its unforgiving nature and refusal to allow people to speak freely. His bold insights might just challenge how you view the cancel culture of the woke movement. So, get ready for a journey through his honest and unapologetic truths. And hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this content and want more insights like this, hit subscribe and help us bring these important conversations to a wider audience. Thank you for the support. Now, let's jump back into the video.
You hosting the Oscars, that it was a dream of yours. You've always wanted to host the Oscars. I said you should host the Oscars. Then you get asked to, I mean, it must have been amazing when they asked you to host this year.
Unreal. You know, there's a lot of goals that I have on my board. I got a vision board, and on that vision board is so many things that I want to do that I'll check off as they get done. And Oscars was up there. Oscars was one of the highest of highs simply because there hasn't been a lot of African-American comedians that have been able to do it. I would have been the fourth.
For Kevin Hart, being invited to host the Oscars was more than just another milestone. It was a crowning achievement. As one of the few African-American comedians to be given this honor, it was a chance to make history and celebrate his years of hard work. But before he could even bask in the glow of his accomplishment, old tweets from nearly a decade ago resurfaced, sparking outrage. Real quick, if you're enjoying this content and want more insights like this, hit subscribe and help us reach these topics to a wider audience. Thank you for the support. Now, let's jump back in.
Congratulations and celebrations. I'm hit with an onslaught on social media of my past coming back up again. Literally the next morning. Not even a full 24 hours to glow in the glory of Kevin Hart is hosting this year's Oscars.
The tweets meant as jokes at the time were admittedly poor in taste, something Hart had already acknowledged years earlier. Yet, for the internet, it didn't matter that he had apologized. The tweets became fuel for a public trial, and Kevin found himself embroiled in a whirlwind of accusations, cancel culture, and media scrutiny.
You only add more fuel to the fire.
Right.
I'm not gonna leave it alone. Another day goes by, the fuel is growing. This fire is angry. It's all over the place. Now the headlines are starting to change. The headlines are Kevin Hart refuses to apologize for homophobic tweets from the past. The word again was left out. Everybody took those headlines and started to run with it.
What made this especially jarring for Hart was the timing. He had addressed these issues in the past and moved forward, striving to become a better person and a more conscious comedian. However, woke culture's thirst for accountability seemed insatiable, dragging him back to a version of himself he had long since outgrown.
So, I mean, Kevin Hart was fired from the Oscars because of some offensive tweets. Hello? Lucky for me, the Hollywood foreign press can barely speak English.
Accountability is a cornerstone of personal growth, but for Hart, the demands felt excessive. The controversy quickly spiraled into a frenzy, with headlines branding him unapologetic and dismissive.
I called the Academy today because I really want you to host the Oscars. I think that I was so excited when I heard that they asked you. I thought it was an amazing thing. I knew how important it was and how it was a dream. So I called them. I said, Kevin's on. I have no idea if he wants to come back and host, but what are your thoughts? And they were like, oh my God, we want him to host. We feel like that maybe he misunderstood or it was handled wrong, or maybe we said the wrong thing, but we want him to host. Whatever we can do, we would be thrilled.
For many, the issue wasn't just about the tweets, but what they represented, a larger cultural divide. On one hand, Hart acknowledged the hurt caused by his words and expressed regret. On the other hand, he questioned how far society should go to judge someone's character.
By so many amazing, talented artists, I sincerely apologize to the LGBT community for my insensitive words from my past. I am sorry that I hurt people. I am evolving and I want to continue to do so. My goal is to bring people together, not tear us apart. Much love and appreciation to the Academy, and I hope we can meet again.
Stepping down as Oscars host took a lot of work for Kevin. It wasn't just about walking away from a personal dream. It was about preserving the integrity of an event meant to celebrate others. Hart wanted his past mistakes to be consistent with the accomplishments of the nominees.
You know, I have not seen this happen in the history of the Oscars. A host was announced just 2 days ago, and now that host is saying, sorry, I don't want to be a part of this. If you don't want me, I'm leaving. You know, it was actually kind of hard for the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences to find a host for the Oscars this year. There was a lot of buzz in the entertainment world about how nobody wanted to host the Oscars anymore. It's a no-win job. But Kevin Hart said, hey, I've wanted to do this all my life, all my career. I'm on board for this. And he announced via Instagram earlier this week that he was going to be the host.
This decision, however noble, came with a price. Critics accused him of trying to evade responsibility, while supporters saw it as an unnecessary sacrifice. For Kevin, it was a matter of principle. He wasn't willing to let a moment designed to uplift the industry become a battleground for controversy.
But all of a sudden here, Hart has said he's no longer going to be participating. He's backed out. And the reason is because of concern and outrage on Twitter, on Facebook, on other social networks about homophobic things that he's posted in the past. Yeah. And there's no doubt about it, Don. Hart did post a number of homophobic slurs and other offensive comments back via Twitter and other sites back in 2009, 2010, 2011.
Woke culture often positions itself as a force for good, promoting inclusivity and accountability. But as Hart experienced, it can also be relentless and unforgiving. Despite his repeated apologies and visible growth, the calls for him to do more never ceased.
What we're going to get to see on stage with you hosting the Oscars is sophistication, class, hilarity, and you growing as a person, because most people would say, you know, I'm walking away, I'm not coming back because, you know, I'm going to go back and forth. But for you to be the bigger man, for you to say, I understand, and to not pay attention. There are so many haters out there. Whatever's going on in the internet, don't pay attention to them. That's a small group of people being very, very loud.
This unrelenting pursuit of atonement created a paradox. On one hand, society encourages people to learn from their mistakes and grow. On the other hand, it often refuses to let them move on, keeping past transgressions alive, as if to deny any possibility of change.
It's tough for me because it was an attack. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence that the day after I received the job, that tweets just somehow manifested from 2008. Now, I don't know who follows me or who doesn't. I'm on social media every day. I got over 40,000 tweets. To go through 40,000 tweets to get back to 2008, that's an attack. That's a malicious attack on my character. That's an attack to end me.
Comedy has always walked a fine line between humor and offense. For Kevin Hart, the line he crossed years ago was one he deeply regretted. Yet, his career since then has been a testament to his commitment to bringing people together through laughter.
But when you witness this, and you stand in front of it, and you heard that these things exist. I've heard about it. I've never experienced it. I've heard about it. This was my first time in the fire. I've seen it. Oh my God. This was to destroy me. This was to end all partnerships, all brand relationships, all investment opportunities, studio relationships, my production company and the people that work underneath me. This was to damage the lives.
The controversy highlighted a broader issue: how cancel culture intersects with comedy. In an era where humor is constantly scrutinized, comedians like Hart are left questioning where the boundaries lie. Is it possible to be funny without offending anyone? And if a joke doesn't land, how long should the comedian pay for it?
Everybody took those headlines and started to run with it. So now, the slander on my name is all homophobia. Now I'm a little upset. I'm a little upset because I know who I am. I know I don't have a homophobic bone in my body. I know that I've addressed it. I know that I've apologized. I know that within my apologies, I've taken 10 years to put my apology.
For Kevin, the breaking point came when the demands for apologies began to overshadow his ability to live authentically. He had apologized, addressed the issue, and made tangible changes in his life. At some point, he decided it was time to stop explaining himself.
I've yet to go back to that version of the immature comedian that once was. I've moved on. I'm a grown man. I'm cultured. I'm manufactured. I'm a guy that understands now. I look at life through a different lens, and because of that, I live it a different way. So now, I'm kind of upset because these 10 years are just being ignored. They're being brushed past.
This wasn't about defiance, but about reclaiming his narrative. Hart believed that he had done enough to demonstrate his growth, and that it was time for society to recognize it. Kevin Hart didn't dismiss the concerns of the LGBTQ+ community. In fact, he empathized with those who were hurt by his past words. He recognized the broader implications of his actions and acknowledged the role he played in perpetuating stereotypes. But he also emphasized that his growth was genuine. His career wasn't built on tearing people down, but on uplifting them. For him, this wasn't just about protecting his brand, but about standing by his values of positivity and inclusivity.
Guys, this is 10 years. No headlines are saying 10 years ago he apologized. Nobody's finding the apologies. Nobody's finding the footage from where I had to address it. I had to address it when I did Get Hard promo with Will Ferrell because of my joke that I had about my son. I had to address those tweets in 2012 in a very, very heavy junket.
The controversy surrounding Kevin Hart is a reminder of the complexities of cancel culture. While accountability is crucial, so is recognizing and celebrating growth.
The Oscars is no longer about Kevin Hart stepping on that stage and taking a intense night where people are so uptight and making it loose and fun. That's my reason for doing it. I'm gonna bring fun to the Oscars. I'm gonna make the Oscars fun. Now, all of a sudden, it's a little darker because the conversation is about me hosting the Oscars. Conversation is about Kevin Hart's tweets from 10 years ago.
Through it all, Kevin Hart has remained steadfast in his belief that people should be given the opportunity to learn, grow, and move forward. So, what do you think? Should people be forever judged by their past mistakes? Or should society allow room for growth and redemption? Kevin Hart's story challenges us to reflect on these questions and rethink how we handle accountability and forgiveness. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more discussions on culture, comedy, and voices that stand firm in the face of controversy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.